Hello friends, it's Johnny Powell here from the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's Saturday, August 24th, and I'm out on the Tiger 1200 here. Stopped at North Toe River overlook. I just got on the Parkway. 3 hours of interstate, 4-lane highway, and just nothing worth reporting and nothing worth filming. So just got the camera out. I'm gonna hook it to my helmet cam, helmet mount. Hopefully my microphone will work today. Past couple of rides I've done, including a few days of the Dolomites trip, microphone problems, and I ended up with basically useless video. Cross fingers. Anyway, about the bike. I added this 30-liter GV top box. Very convenient. And since I'm solo, I was actually able to also put my Moscow luggage on just on the back seat, and it straps up easy, of course. Move the little heat shield protector down here that I had on the Scrambler. Ooh, it's hot. Let's see if anything's melting. Nope. Like I said, mostly road riding so far, boring. I was able to test some of the features out. There we go, 3 hours duration, 173 miles. That's from when I remembered to change the trip. I used some of the new features though. I used the cruise control. That was nice on the interstate, and I used hill brake assist a bunch, and I used quick shifting, or whatever you want to call it, where you don't have to use the clutch to shift, which is nice. Because anyway, so far so good. I'm gonna get going, and when I get back on mic, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Okay, hopefully this is working now. I accidentally did not have the microphone plugged in, or the mic adapter was not plugged into the GoPro like a dummy. Anyway, so if you are tuning in hoping that I'm going to be riding this Triumph Tiger on gravel roads and dirt roads and stuff like that, off-road, I'm sorry, I won't be on this trip. This is just a shakedown ride. It's a brand new motorcycle. This is like literally the 5th or 6th time I've actually ridden it, if you count, and that's counting the test ride. Anyway, I'm not used to it. I want to get used to the handling of it. Also, it's very big, very heavy, very top heavy, and I'm by myself, and I don't want to get into something stupid and fall over and I can't pick it up, or you know. Also, I'm honestly a little bit spooked because of the crash I had, which I'll talk a little bit more about that. Anyway, but I'm going to try to repeat what I just said when I was cruising the Parkway. I wanted to take just a little bit of a little time, and I don't think I've ever formally introduced myself. So my name is John. I live down in South Carolina, Columbia, and I have a nickname, Johnny Powell. You can call me Johnny. And the nickname was given to me in the 90s, either by my friend Ange or my friend Troy. I don't remember, but it was when I had started this little side project, a band, a musical side project called Cherry Cherry Pow Pow. And if you remember the Brady Bunch episode where Greg wanted to be a rock star and he made his name Johnny Bravo, so this is the same idea, but it's also kind of mixed in with like the Ramones, where everybody in the Ramones have a fake name, like Dee Dee Ramone, Johnny Ramone, Marky Ramone. So anyway, I was Johnny Powell, and then this guy Scott joined the band. He was Scotty Powell, and then anyway, Troy, I think he made that stuff up. But anyway, but that name kind of stuck with me somehow. And a couple of years ago, when I got back into motorcycling, Ange just started referring to me in all of his videos about the Trans-American Trail stuff and the preparation for it and everything. He started, you know, just calling me Johnny Powell. So that now it's my nickname again, I guess. It's just dirt. Anyway, but yeah, so I started riding motorcycles in the mid-90s when I was in my mid-20s, and my first bike was, my first couple bikes were both BMW air-cooled airheads, whatever you call them, boxers. So I had like a R65 and a R100, and those are not sport bikes at all. Those are, or adventure bikes. Those are just straight old school kind of vintage street bikes, and I loved it. And I, you know, rode some around town, but what I really like to do was cruise up into the North Carolina mountains and ride roads kind of like this. And I would take camping gear and all that kind of stuff and go up to like Pisgah and areas around western North Carolina. I then met other motorcyclists, and my kind of knowledge and interest grew, and my friend Morgan got me into doing vintage trials. So I picked up a Honda TL125 trials bike, and that led me to many other trials bikes, both vintage and modern. And I rode lots and lots of trials for a long time, and was a pretty good intermediate rider, and moved up and rode sportsman, and in vintage I would ride expert, but I don't think I ever. Oh yeah, here's a gravel. Well, I said I wasn't going to ride gravel. Huh. Maybe it's not long. Oh, it's 3 miles. Yeah. So anyway, shit. This is not what I expected, but I think I can handle it. I'm just on street tires, and I'm still spooked because I had that crash recently. So I'm going to go super slow here. Okay, trials, and then through trials I met this dude Gene, and Gene and I rode a lot of motorcycles together, and he got me into riding sport bikes, and so we did like sport bike rides in the mountains, and then that turned into dual sports, and I bought my DR650, and then I actually started with my sport bike was not that sporty. It was a SV650, and with that I started riding some track days. So I was doing track days with a group called US Desmo, and we rode like Carolina Motorsports Park, and I did a few there, and then I did one at like Roebling Road one time. And okay, here's the end of the gravel. That actually had my heart beating. I don't want to sound like a wimp, but I don't know. Also, don't know if you know about the crash I had very recently. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. So then I quit riding motorcycles abruptly around 2008 or 2009 because a friend of mine had a bad accident and ended up passing away. And that kind of spooked me, and then also I just had just a life change. I quit music, I quit motorcycles, and I just concentrated on my career and work, and then pounded that out for about 10 years, and then I got back into doing music, and then did a music project with Angelo, and then he started hitting me up about motorcycle stuff, and he was sending me videos of Itchy Boots and Ed March and Transamerica Trail and blah blah blah, and then he's got me all excited about it, of course. And then he got he decided he was going to buy a Trail 125 and ride the Transamerica Trail, and he said I needed to do it with him, and so that is what happened. This is a great road, by the way. I normally would be hitting this a little bit harder, but just a little bit unsure on this bike. Anyway, this would be a good road on a Grom. But anyway, he got me back into bikes and stuff, and so we both bought Trail 125s, and we both brought Himalayans, and we rode the Transamerica Trail, which was incredible, and then that got me all hooked. And then I did the Great Continental Divide route, which I have a whole video series on that on my channel. The Transamerica Trail stuff is all, of course, on Angelo's channel, which is called Some Guy Rides. Check that out. I make an appearance about halfway through because I met him. I started in New Mexico and met him in Colorado. And then I heard about the Scooter Cannonball, and so I bought a Vespa and I did the Scooter Cannonball. So you may see that video series on my channel as well. And anyway, so there's a variety of things that I'm doing and that I have on my channel, including some bicycling, which I know most people are not interested in, but I'm kind of digging doing that. Gonna try to do a bike camping trip before it gets to be too cold this year, and I may try to see if I can make a video on that. Which bike camping is the same exact thing as like motorcycle adventure riding, except that you're pedaling, and it's a lot shorter ride. Anyway, I bought a Triumph Scrambler 400X at the beginning of this year, and I have not edited the video because it's got bad mojo, but I did a trip to the North Carolina mountains, North Georgia or Western Tennessee. I went to Carolina Mountain Trails campground, spent the night, and I was riding all roads. And then I was coming home, and I decided to hit one section of Smoky Mountain 500, which I thought I remembered it being easy, smooth gravel, and it was not. It was looking pretty bad. And I was only about 5 miles in, and I realized that I made a mistake. I went too fast over a hill, and the other side of the hill was all washed out, and the little scrambler and me didn't do so well. Anyway, the front end hit like a washout, and it slid out, and I fell over, landed directly on a rock on my shoulder, and shattered my shoulder socket, shattered my shoulder blade, broke 5 ribs, punctured a lung, a lot of bad stuff, and it was very traumatic. It was the worst pain I've ever been in. The week in the hospital in Chattanooga, and the trauma center was the worst week of my life. My wife came out and met me, and that was very difficult for both of us. It was some serious shit. Anyway, I was out of work 2 months and doing rehab, and then I got better. And then when I got back to work and got back to normal, I started riding a little bit, and I had booked this trip already, and I'd prepaid for it and everything, to go to Germany and rent BMW motorcycles with this group. And we would ride as a group together down to the Dolomite Mountains in Italy. And I was really hoping that my shoulder was going to be healed up enough to do that trip, and it was. So you may have seen those recent videos, and what was really cool about that for me was I got to ride the BMW GS 1300, which is brand new, and God, I loved it. And that gave me GS fever and big bike fever. And when I came back, I had to decide what to do with my Scrambler, because I didn't like it. It had bad mojo. It actually was not real good as a street bike. It's a good bike for piddling around town, but like, it didn't have a lot of power in the twisties, and it has very weird ergonomics and really kind of sucks off-road. And anyway, so I was talking with the dealership about bringing it down to have them estimate repairing it, which they did, which was ridiculous. And then I'm like, I'm not buying that. I'm not paying for that. And they're like, well, we'd love to take this in on trade if there's something that you might be interested in. They're like, we think you really like a Tiger, really hard to sell me on a motorcycle. So I test rode this Tiger and bought it, and they gave me actually a good trade-in value. And they've already got that bike fixed up and for sale. I saw it on their website. Anyway, that leads me to today, and this is just one quick overnight camp. I'm not bringing any kitchen. I'm just going to eat out. I got I don't even really have a change of clothes. I forgot to bring a second pair of shoes, which I wish I had. What is that? It's cabins. Anyway, so I left town, and I just decided to do a solo strictly pavement overnight deal, and my destination is Roan Mountain. There's a motorcycle campground there I found out about. Seems pretty cool. I know nothing about it. I found it literally this morning when I'm trying to figure out where the hell I'm going. And yeah, terrible long ride to get up here where the weather's cooler and the roads are curvy. Like, it's just not that fun riding around South Carolina. I'm sorry, but anyway, this has been pretty fun. the last hour or so, and tomorrow I think I've got a lot of good roads planned out. So anyway, that's the long-winded intro. Thanks for sticking with it. Just found a, what's it called? Smoky Mountain Bakers. Pretty cool little bakery that has a wood-fired pizza oven, and I recommend it. Nice people, little tiny cool place. They've got like little baked cakes and cookies, and they have like espresso maker, and anyway, I had a fountain Coke and a pizza that was yum. And I'm on my way now to find this campground. They had motorcycle helmets on those poles with monster masks in them. I guess this is the spot. How's my helmet here? I'm sure it looks great. Anyway, I made it to, I'm trying to think, I think it's called Mountain View Motorcycle Campground. So got a little spot with a fire pit and a, picnic. There's some guys over there in adventure bikes. There's a whole hangout area up here. Okay, as usual, I'm the last one to leave. Didn't sleep very well, although it's a cool place. I just am kind of having problems falling asleep lately, but once I did fall asleep, it was great. And so I slept in until I got out of the tent at 9 o'clock, and I was in the shade, so everything was dewy. So I've been taking my time getting everything to dry off. Had a fun time here. Mountain View Motorcycle Campground, kind of near Roan, Georgia. Roan Mountain, Tennessee. Super friendly people that run this place, and they also have like some adventure riding schools here that the owner Mark and his wife, I believe her name was Janine, run. They have beginner, intermediate, and whatnot. And just, it's small, but it's got a couple of very clean restrooms and showers, and like a shop. The guy has a shop there, and there's like a little hangout room, coffee maker, snacks, refrigerator you can use, etc. It's just super cool, and I had a fun time chatting with everyone last night. Everybody's kind of telling stories about where they've been and where they want to go, etc. Oh, so I've mapped out a little route using Google Maps, and I think I'm going to go back over that Roan Mountain road with had like the little 1 mile of gravel, and then I'm going to try to weave my way to a road called 80. I don't know if it's state 80 or county 80 or whatever, but and then, which looks fun. I'm pretty sure it's 100% paved. And then some more little back highway, maybe Highway 9, and then I might pop over to Saluda, get gas,
and maybe stop for a snack, and then just probably get on the interstate and head home. That is the plan, and the weather looks awesome again. I think it's gonna be a little warmer today, but feels fine, getting a breeze. Check in with you in a bit. Let's see, so far my trip, 245 miles, not counting about 10 miles that before I set the odometer, or maybe 5 miles, so 250 miles, kind of what I thought it was going to be. Probably going to be about exactly the same, so a 500-mile round trip, 5 hours riding total time. I assume that's just riding time. Yeah, of course, it's like the how long the motors run on this trip. I still have 95 miles in the tank, which I think that'll last me until Saluda. Still figuring out. So I'm averaging 38.5 miles to the gallon. Yeah, so I'm still kind of working out range and how that applies to planning my day. But today I'm going to try to get some riding in, but I may talk some about this Tiger, and once I get some more miles, some of my feelings about it, and also I'm going to compare it to that GS 1300 that I rode in Dolomites. Oh yeah, so this is Roan Mountain. There's pizza restaurants up there. There's a gas station. There's a steakhouse. There's a grocery store, a little tiny grocery store. Beside the grocery store is a to-go, like drive-up window, not a liquor store. They sell beer. Anyway, you can get craft beer to go. And then there's a barbecue restaurant right over here, and auto parts. So it's not much, but you know, there's stuff if you need it. Kind of going through Roan Mountain State Park now. Same as we did yesterday, just kind of going back the other direction. Nice. Smells good up here. probably be in sport mode for this. So I can tell there's the throttle response in the regular road mode has a little lag. Let me see if I can figure out how to do that. Road, sport. All right, now we're in sport mode. Yeah, it's got a little bit more boost. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so to change modes, you use the mode selector button to find it, hit enter with the joystick, and then you have to close the throttle to engage it. That was pretty easy. Yeah, it just feels different now for sure, kind of everywhere. This road is fun. This is Roan Mountain Road. Keep it down through this residential section. Carver's Gap. Huh. Back in North Carolina. So I'm wrong. This is not the road I did last night. Pretty sure. I definitely went through the state park, so there must have been a different road parallel to this. Because both of these go to Bakersfield, so. I believe this is the road I thought I was going to do last night, and I ended up on the other one. Well, that's cool. I need to come up with a name for this bike. I had named my Honda, little Honda Trail 125. It was basically midlife crisis, which is kind of funny because usually a midlife crisis is like a Corvette. Well, I think it's funny. And then I got the Royal Enfield, and it was midlife crisis too. I've never named my DR650. Yeah, I don't know. Still working on that. I've only owned it 18 years. My Vespa has a name. It's a weird one. It's Anfisa, which is named after this Italian lady who's a world famous DJ in electronic music. Anfisa Let Yago. Because she's a badass, and I kind of think that little Vespa's a little badass, and it's Italian made. Yeah, still getting used to this. It's pretty darn fun through these twisties. I can feel differences between this and the GS though, for sure. Slow down here. So I guess I'll go ahead and speak to those differences. Okay, the top two differences between the GS 1300 and this bike. Well, there's four. One, this bike is significantly more top heavy. I can feel it. It's a lot harder to wheel around like at a stop, like in a parking lot or something. It's scarier. It feels like it's going to tip over more. You can tell that that boxer motor has that lower center of gravity. Two, the front fork. So the BMW has that telelever BMW style front fork that has no dive under braking, and it's really cool. I'm sure there's downsides to that, and I don't really know what those are, but I can tell you that this bike has traditional dive like that, and it's annoying me every time, you know. I mean, I think that's normal-ish, but especially with the weight of this bike, it's a little kind of, I don't know, I don't really notice it as much like on my DR650. Lighter bike, much lighter. Okay, the third thing I would say is the motor. This bike, you know, has that cool inline kind of futuristic sound, and then when you get it kind of up hot, it's got a great growl. But I've noticed that, and maybe I just don't have the mode settings right or whatever, but between 5,000 and 6,000 RPMs, it does this thing where it revs up and then back down. And I don't know if that's because it's shifting. I think this bike has some kind of technical, like it's got 2 cams, and maybe it's shifting from one cam to the other electronically when it's happening. Not real sure, but I'll try to demonstrate it here. So that's not good. I need a straighter. All right. Okay, so 5,000, and I'm gonna roll on. See how it went up and down? Maybe that's how a lot of bikes, you know, like I said, this is my, I said in another video, this is my first inline cylinder bike, so maybe that's kind of the way they do. Versus the GS seem to have like a constant like pull. Kind of more torque, although this I think has more power and will certainly rev higher. Well, so far it sounds like I'm giving the GS all the top marks. Number 4 to me is the front tire, or the front wheel size specifically. So this is a 21. The GS has a 19, and I'm sure that the 21 is better off-road, which I have not really been on off-road, or I don't really know how much I will do off-road, but certainly millions of people ride GS's off-road with 19-inch front wheels. But in the corners, and I can tell the difference between how nimble the GS was, and this still for its size seems nimble and everything, but I can tell it's got that 21-inch wheel feeling when you're trying to fold into a corner. I don't know why I said fold. Turning. And I believe I've been told that it has something to do with the gyroscopic, like, inertia. It's still good. You can still ride. I'm sure there are people that can ride the hell out of this bike. But I just noticed that it's not a bad thing. In fact, it feels maybe a little bit more stable. And I'm sure that'll help off. I'm sure that helps like off-road. But like corners, it just feels a little sleepier. But one good thing about the Tiger is that I got like all the features that would have been super expensive on the GS. So like it's not a bargain bike by any means, but you can get it all for less than what you have to put out for the GS. I had never thought I would spend this much money on a motorcycle, period. And I guess, what the hell, I could have like gone a little bit more and gotten the GS, but the dealership gave me, like I said, it gave me a great trade-in, and they had this bike, which is awesome, and you know, I think I'll enjoy it. And I'm really starting to think about some kind of scenarios where I'm doing some big rides on this. That's what it's made for. Alright, so I'm here at the Blue Ridge Parkway crossover of Highway 80 right above me, and I've got the low fuel warning a little sooner than expected, and also the sign right there says Eastern Continental Divide, elevation 3350. How about that? So I may have misjudged the range here, so let me see how far it is until I'm getting fuel. Okay. Oh, doesn't look far at all. Gee, do I want to get on the parkway? Parkway. Goes back north. No, I don't want to get on the parkway. I'm gonna take 80 to Highway 70 and then get gas at I-85. Parkway would be fun today, but it's going back up to the north side of Asheville, like whatever, Mars Hill kind of deal. So, oh yeah, also this is the I just, before I turned the camera on, was the exit to go up to Mount Mitchell, which would also be fun, but if I had extra fuel, maybe. Don't actually know how far it is. I went up Mount Mitchell one time before. Yeah, this is not as easy as it was on that GS, I don't think. It's got the fork dive. It's a little slower through turn, and the you have to be kind of gentle with the throttle because it wants to snatch. Like that. Doing all my trail braking, keeping my hands covering the brakes. That's a habit anyway of mine from trials riding. Yeah, this road is sweet. back in road mode because I was trying to save a little gas on the kind of the plain, flat-ish country roads, you know. So I don't know if I switch, if that'll change the way this throttle is doing. I'm a little busy right now. We're clearly going down from the Continental Divide. Eastern Continental Divide. I guess that makes sense that it goes through Mount Mitchell. Which I don't know exactly, but I think Mitchell is the tallest on the southern Appalachia. And I think whatever it's called, Washington, and I think it's Vermont is the tallest on the whole East Coast. I don't like that. Alright, let me try to change the mode here. Sport, enter, throttle, got it. That's just a characteristic of the shaft. Oops, missed it.